just want to talk to you about the ingredients we have. I've got some ice water for testing the stage that the candy reaches. I've got equal parts sugar and butter, 1 cup of each. I've got some pure vanilla and some salt for flavoring. I've got a wooden spoon because a metal spoon can cause crystallization in the sugar. I've got a rubber spatula for smoothing everything out. I've got a candy thermometer, which you'll want to test by checking the temperature of boiling water first, and then you add or subtract the amount that is off. Mine is off by about 5 degrees Celsius. And I've got a glass pan, because the toffee can kind of lift off pretty easily from the glass. If you don't have a glass pan, you can use a pan lined with parchment paper. And I put the toasted almonds in the bottom of the pan. That way they don't fall off of the top. And then finally I've got some chocolate discs. These will melt easily over the top. And you can also use chocolate chips, and you can use any kind of chocolate, semi-sweet, dark, or milk chocolate. You want to take the sugar and the butter, and about 2 teaspoons of water. About an eighth to a quarter teaspoon of salt. It's about a quarter right there. And about a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And salt and the vanilla are both optional, but they will add flavor. And we're going to set the burner to low heat, and we're going to melt the butter. So now the butter is starting to melt, so we're going to kind of stir it a little bit. We don't really need to stir it a lot at this stage. We're just kind of melting the butter and incorporating the ingredients together. We just want to make sure that the butter kind of spreads out a little evenly and melts in the pan. Now that the butter and sugar have melted, you want to turn it up to about medium-low temperature, and you want to stir it until the volume starts to increase and it starts to bubble up. Okay, now that it's starting to bubble up, we can stop stirring, and we can attach the candy thermometer and start monitoring the temperature. We want to get it up to the hard crack stage, which is about 148 to 150 degrees Celsius. And once it gets to that stage, then we'll stop. So you can see it started to brown, and it's reached the temperature that we calibrated the thermometer for the hard crack stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just test that to make sure that we're correct. I'm going to take some of the mixture and I'm going to drip it into some ice water. And we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Should be hard, and I should be able to crack it. And there we go. So it is ready. We are going to actually stir it a little bit from the heat first. Stir it for about 30 seconds or so. Just want to make sure everything's nice and mixed well. Okay, you can see everything kind of settled down. It's an even color. Everything's mixing well. We're going to go ahead and pour this over the almonds. As much as we're going to get out of there. Okay, you can see it kind of flattens out on its own. You don't really need to use the spatula at this point. But what we'll do is we'll sprinkle this chocolate over the top. I'm just kind of throwing it on there. If you have chocolate chips, sprinkling kind of works better. The chocolate is going to melt, and once it starts to melt, we can spread it out with the spatula. So as you can see, the chocolate has melted down quite a bit, so we're just going to take the spatula, kind of smooth it out over the top. Doesn't take a lot of pressure. The chocolate is very warm at this point. And there you go. If you prefer the nuts to be on the top, this is the point where you would just kind of sprinkle them on so that they have a chance to get into that nice melted chocolate. And that's it for this step. The next step is to cool it in the refrigerator until it becomes brittle. Okay, so this is the final step. It has cooled for a couple of hours in the fridge, so now all we need to do is just break it apart. So I'm just going to use a butter knife here and just kind of start in the middle. And it's not always easy to get it started. Here, let's try from the edge a little bit. There we go. And now you can just kind of break it into break it down. And there's your finished product.